all the way through life, that's what guides us. That's sort of the impetus for deep learning. It's something that you're genuinely curious about, that you can't stop thinking about. And that's where the line between school and home and formal learning and informal learning just disappears. That curiosity is that essence of what we need to guide us to learning. So I started looking into it, and my background's in developmental psychology, but it really branched me into all these other fields, namely research in education and how education has been set up, and what's the history of education, and how we structured it, and in what ways we haven't structured it. So I just want to tell you about a few things that I discovered that were really exciting to me that I read about in the book, and then I really want to have people talk to each other, because I think we're so lucky to have this group of people together in one room. Some people that teach preschool, some people that teach at university, and some people that, everyone in between, are doing interesting things with learning and being curious. So first off, I discovered that the Latin word curiosity comes from the Latin cura, to care. That in order to care about, you have to care about something in order to want to learn that. And so the idea of a curiosity classroom would be that everyone is learning and studying and engaging with things that they want to learn about. And then if that's the case, if that's the baseline, you don't have to worry about things like attention and motivation, because humans are endlessly motivated for those things that they actually care about. So a couple of things that I just want to talk about are, first, that children's brains are really optimized, have evolved to engage with novel things. And there's some research that I talked about in the book with chimpanzees, and starting with gorillas. This research from Alfred Brown in the 1860s, who brought into a cage of gorillas a box of snakes. And gorillas are deathly afraid of snakes. And what they did is they peeked in, because animals have this novelty, this exploratory reflex that kids have too. So if there's a box, they're going to look. They looked in and were scared to death and shut the box and bolted out of it. But what they did next was the most interesting. They went back and they looked in again, because they couldn't stop. They couldn't keep themselves away from engaging with something that's exciting or interesting or new or novel. And kids too love to experiment, love to check things out. In fact, they can't be stopped from doing so. And the developmental psychology studies that I think are the most fascinating are the ones where they have these opportunities to explore and ask kids not to do it. Don't open those drawers and don't look in those boxes. And it's impossible. I mean, every kid does eventually look. But what they do is they cover their eyes and they hide under the table and they rock back and forth, they sit on their hands, until they finally have to go in and look. And then what they study is the latency to how long does it take before they actually look, because every kid looks. That it's so deep in us to explore. And that brought me into this new literature about effortless learning. That kids can actually learn things that are incredibly complex without trying and without even realizing they're doing it. And the first one that we all do, and arguably the most complex thing we learn in our entire lives, is language. When we learn our native language, we do so without any explicit instruction at all. We're just in communities of language users. And we come to learn that incredibly complex system of symbols and signs without formal instruction. But effortless learning is not just language. And kids, there have been some really interesting studies and experiments that have shown that kids